Welcome back to week 4, Presentation 1. Now, we've spent the last few weeks discussing the informative speech in general, but by now, you are on your way to completing yours, and you're probably more interested in discussing the speech specifically. For this class, you have a very detailed assignment to follow. The goal of the informative speech is to have you teach the class about a concept that you have chosen, researched, and written thoughtfully about, using the online presentations, your textbook, and your peer feedback to proceed. The topic for the informative speech can be just about anything you want it to be, but as you know, there are 2 additional requirements. First, your speech needs to be able to be modified next week to become a persuasive speech. So you need to be sure to pick a topic with persuasive potential. Second, your speech needs to recognize issues of social and cultural diversity. This means that you need to demonstrate an understanding that all people come to the table from different genders, ethnicities, religious perspectives, class statuses, and races. It would be a mistake to assume that everyone encounters the world in the same way you do, and you want your topic to reflect your understanding of diversity in your speech. This can affect your topic selection. But really, any topic can demonstrate your understanding of diversity. Think back to my organ donation example. I made sure to consider how race might affect the process of organization when I did the research for my speech. Remember, any topic can be the perfect topic, and don't get too hung up searching for the perfect topic. Instead, pick a topic that appeals to you and suits your passions and your expertise. But once you've found that topic, head both to the free internet and the library and start researching. When you have gathered all of your sources, your next step is to sit down and read your supporting material, making sure you have all 4 types of sources that your textbook discusses: facts and figures, examples, testimony, and narrative. Be sure you have 5 sources for your speech and that one of them comes from the Herzing Library. The other 4 can come from the free internet with a couple of caveats. First, remember that Wikipedia and other encyclopedias are off limits for you because they are not advanced enough for a college-level course. These kinds of sources might help you get started on your speech, but they should not be your only research, nor should you take information from them directly for your speech. Make sure that once you have gathered all of your sources, you sit down and arrange them all according to the 4 R's we discussed. This ensures that you have the most credible sources possible for your speeches. When you've decided that your sources are credible enough, you will need to read them again, this time with an eye for the 4 types of supporting material that your textbook suggests. It's really important that you have facts and figures, examples, testimony, and narrative in your speech, because all of these kinds of supporting materials are essential for sharing sound information with your audience. Once you're satisfied with your research, it's time to draft your specific purpose statement and your thesis statement. Deciding on those 2 elements will allow you to spend some time thinking about the method of speech design you want to choose for each speech. Review all of the methods that your textbook mentions in the informative speaking chapter so that you can select the one that best lets you cover all the areas of your speech. Remember that any speech can be organized according to any one of the methods of design. Your thesis and specific purpose statement will guide you in the right direction. Once you have determined your specific purpose statement, your thesis sentence, and your method of speech design, you're ready to begin your outline. Remember that it's quite all right to focus on the body of the speech first so that you can come back at the end and craft an introduction and conclusion. Because this is a 5-minute speech, you should have 3 main points. When you write your outline, be sure to express those main points, as well as all of the supporting points, in full sentence form. The formal outline contains the same information your speech would contain if you wrote it out in paragraph form. Only in this case, you're doing it in an outline form so that the audience can follow along with your structure and organization. As you write your speech, think about where you will need to use a presentation aid. Usually, you will want to use a presentation aid in the most difficult or technical part of the speech. This is because presentation aids are a visual clue for the audience to follow. A final step when writing the body is to make sure you use lots of transitions between main points to ensure that your speech has a logical flow. The introduction of the speech is arguably the most important element of the speech. because it is the first thing the audience hears, and it establishes a tone for the rest of the speech. If the introduction is the most important element of the speech, then the preview is the most important element of the introduction. The preview is a roadmap for your audience so that they always know what comes next in the speech. The conclusion is also really important because it's the last thing your audience hears and it leaves an impression in their minds. Make sure your conclusion stands alone as a complete paragraph and do give it the attention it deserves. It's a common mistake to think that conclusions don't matter, and speakers sometimes fail to give the ending of the speech the attention it deserves. Try to end the speech on a strong note by referring back to the introduction at the end of the speech. This will nicely bookend your speech and give your listeners a nice sense of closure. Once you have crafted the perfect speech, all you have left to do is deliver it. Speech delivery will be something we discuss next week. But for this week, I would like you to turn your attention once again to analyzing an informative speech. Speech analysis will be the focus of the next presentation.